Good morning. It's Jayne here live. And it's such an interesting time on the planet, isn't it? I think that there's just been so much pressure on people on the outside, and the emotional impact of that has been quite extreme. And I think that's for a few reasons. First of all, our outside environment and our situation, our life is quite uncertain. So there's all these things changing outside. But I also think that it's almost like everybody's emotional friction points are being activated right now. So when those friction points are activated, that's a brilliant opportunity for you to actually come back to your truth. And the solution, I think, is actually more simple than what we make out and what we do to actually help ourselves feel better. So I wanted to talk about that this morning because I think it can be very simple if we approach the way we're feeling just a little bit differently. So you understand, I'm sure, when you feel those places in yourself, like if you've been through a marriage breakup or, all this pressure that's happening, it really is impacting our relationships. But also if you're not in relationship, this stuff is coming up. And these times are the times that we can use our emotions to actually figure out which way do we have to step next to get back to our truest self. That place in us that is the most right for us right here and now, so that we feel all the power that we have to bring to this life experience. And that's why it's so important not to ignore those emotions, but to actually work with them. But sometimes they're so overwhelming, right? You just can't even see any way to move forward. It's like this big black cloud just sits over your head. And I totally get that place too, because there's really nothing, when you're in those places, it's like you're just wrecked and there's nothing you can do about it. But there is actually one thing you can do about it. What I want to share with you and what I'd love you to consider doing next time you're feeling an emotional soup or you're feeling that thought storm is two things. First of all, try to control your thoughts, right? Because the thoughts are what creates suffering. They just amplify anything you're feeling. So everything you can do, and I've shared about this before, the sorts of things that I do, I ring a friend and I chat to a friend, because my friend, like the right friend, not someone that engages with me in the story and poor you, how are you ever going to cope, what a crap situation, not one of those friends, but a friend that goes, yeah, I'm hearing you, that's pretty tough. Okay, so what can you do right now to nurture yourself? One of those friends, they're the friends you need to call. So call a friend, but the other thing is do whatever you can do to get your thoughts into some sort of box so you can put them away somewhere. So one of the things I did was I learnt a little poem or a little prayer, but you can learn a poem, you can say a mantra, you can sing a song. Any of those things will help with the thought storm. And then the emotional soup, what you do with that. Now, like this blows me away every time I think about this, right? Because it's so easy. It's so easy, and we make it so complicated for ourselves. Our emotional world knows exactly what needs to happen next. Our emotional world has an intelligence, and our emotional world absolutely knows how to move us through what's happening right now into the next moment. What we do as human beings, and let me just say what I do as a human being, and I think there's a lot of other people that do what I do. I have a feeling and then I try to analyze it and I try to figure it out, and I go back to my inner child and I try to work things out, and it's like, oh my God, and I get all this meaning and I get caught up in this. How do I learn about this so it doesn't happen next time? Or how do I grow from this? And I'm all this involvement and this engagement in where I am right now actually stops my emotional world from doing what it needs to do. Now, I'm not saying don't do those things, because there absolutely is a place for that, which I'll come to next and I'll explain next. But when you're feeling stuff, it's almost like trust that your emotional world has brought you to this place so that you can feel more empowered in this moment. It's brought you here because your emotional world knows exactly what needs to be adjusted in your life to get you back on your right path, to get you back to your place of true alignment. That's the job of your emotional world. So it's brought this up right now for you as an opportunity. And what I've been seeing and what I've been experiencing is that I have to get out of the way. And that's pretty hard when you're a person that's used to working things out and you've got all this knowledge and you want to put things in a box and you want to conceptualize it. But it's like, you know what? I've just got to stop all of that for a moment and just allow my emotions to do what they need to do right now. Just allow them to be there. Stop doing things that amplify the thoughts, i.e. thinking. Stop thinking. Just stop the thinking. Sing a song, say a prayer, whatever it is you can do. Just do that and just allow the emotional world to actually do what it needs to do just for a little while. It might be a couple of hours, it might be a couple of days, it might be a week. And then have a look at it. Have a look at what you need to do next to step back into your truth. So you will have to act. You will have to understand where you lost your way. You will have to understand, hey, I gave my power away to that person because I wanted to be accepted. Okay, in order for me to step back onto my truth, I have to take back my power. What do I need to do? Okay, I need to stop hanging out with that person, or I need to tell that person that that doesn't feel right for me to behave in that way, or that doesn't feel right for me to go to that place. So it's like using it to step back onto your truth. But all that figuring out stuff, it's great we understand ourselves and we can use that. But the point is, we just need to stop doing what takes us off our path, what takes us off our truth. And we need to have a look at what's stopping us from doing that. So if I've recognized that what's taken me off my path is, for example, going out with somebody that I don't feel emotionally safe with to a place that I'm not enjoying, and I have a whole lot of feeling that comes up around that the next day, or I have resentment, my job is to go, okay, so I just need to get back into my truth. What did I do? But then why did I do that? Why did I put myself in that position? And that's where the understanding comes in. That's where we go back and look at the emotional strategies we used as a child to get the love and acceptance we needed. And that's where we do a little bit of healing on that level. But really, in this moment, when you're feeling emotional soup and the thought storm, it's about trusting your emotional world to do its job and just getting the hell out of the way. Because this is an unseen thing. This is a thing that human beings in general aren't that comfortable with, which is trusting the unseen world. Like, we have to fix it, we have to do something about it, and if we're not doing something, we feel like we're not doing enough. Try and let go of that thought, because that's just like an implant. That's just like, what do you want to say? It's like a frame or a cage that we're holding on to that really doesn't serve us. So just see it as that and love it, let it dissolve, and just go, I'm actually just going to trust that my emotional world knows exactly what to do right now. Now, there's another thing I want to talk to you about, because what may come up for you if you've had fairly substantial emotional upsets in the past, or say you're somebody that suffered anxiety or depression and you've really crashed and burned in your life, like you've had a long time where you might have been on antidepressant drugs, or maybe your whole life fell apart, and you'll come to another place where something else is coming up because you're trying to walk off your path, right? You're either moving into a place that is not true for you, or you've already done that. So your emotional world brings up all that feeling from the last time that happened, possibly because you didn't allow it to process as well as you could back then. Not your fault, just that maybe you didn't know. So your emotional world brings it all up again. Now, what happens when you're thinking to yourself, okay, Lisa's shared that maybe I should let my emotional world just do its job and I should get out of the way. All right for Lisa, but I've been to that place before and it's freaking scary, and I can't do that because I'm so frightened I'm going to be back there again. Totally get that, right? That's your feeling memory. I'd like you to turn that around though, and I'd like you to say to yourself, you got out of it once. There have been times in your life where you weren't feeling that. There have been times in your life where you did feel the magic, where you were aligned with what you needed to be doing right now in this moment. So you've done it. You can do it. And just because you're here feeling a similar feeling, and all of those feeling memories are being activated at the same time, right? So you're not just feeling the emotion from this moment. All of the times that you felt out of control, powerless, depressed, anxious from the past, they're all lumped right now in this moment. So do you get it? Like, if you allow it to process properly now, next time this happens, it's not going to be as intense. But if you don't, next time it's all the past feeling again. And this is why I believe people are experiencing such intense pain and hurt and trauma at the moment, because it's not just the uncertainty of this moment. It's all the other times in the past that have come up right now to be healed. So if that comes up for you, if you want to leave it, if you're in that moment where you're going, okay, I'm going to do what you suggest, I'm just going to see that my emotional world can actually sort through this, and I'm just going to stop my thinking. And if then you feel the fear of it's going to be out of control and I have to do something, just see it for what it is. All it is the fear that's generated and the uncertainty that's generated from the past feeling memory that you had. And remind yourself that you have had times in your life where you haven't felt like that, where you have felt good. So you can do it. You do have the capacity to be out of this state. So I strongly recommend to you that when you're feeling this emotional soup or these thought storms, remember that your emotional world has an intelligence and it knows exactly what to do for you right now. And the practice is to learn how to trust it and to stop the thinking using those couple of tools that I just told you about, because they will amplify the pain. But your emotional world will heal you, and you will move through it, and you will feel amazing because you've allowed all of the emotion to process, not just the emotion in this moment, but all of the feeling memory that you've brought with you. You're allowing your emotional world to heal that for you, because that's how it works. And that's trust, isn't it? And human beings have to practice that trust. But when you trust that, you begin to really trust yourself. And that has a massive flow-on effect. So all the times that you're second guessing, all that stuff, that starts to dissolve too, because all of a sudden you're trusting yourself more. So I hope that's been beneficial to you today. And I thank my beautiful friends that I was meditating with last night, because all of this came up for me last night to share today, which is why friends are so important, because we are always learning from each other, and it's such a beautiful gift. And I hope that today is magical for you. Sending love.